Welcome to JWL Sports, where we review all the best sports clips from around the world. If this is your first time checking out a video, please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. We're watching a clip of Undisputed with Skip Bayless, Keyshawn Johnson, and looking like Paul Pierce, talking about the Warriors. And Draymond and how he kind of ignited a fight and a scuffle against the Memphis Grizzlies. Kind of what does this mean for the Warriors? Are the Warriors had a big win? They're considering it a big win. It was the Grizzlies. It's hardly that special, quite honestly. But in basketball, they seem to act like it's football, where it's like game to game, and they're like, they won, oh my god, And I'm a big Warriors fan, and even I'm not like, okay, it was against the Grizzlies. But the question is like, can they bring this level of intensity into the playoffs? And if you can overwhelm some of these younger, inexperienced teams like OKC, Minnesota Timberwolves, stuff like that. I think you run into a problem against the Denver Nuggets, who are now veterans and experienced and have won and have legitimate championship pedigree. But you can definitely lean on these younger teams, as the Warriors proved that they were able to do against the Kings, the year before. So I'm curious to see how these guys, what these guys have to say, and then we can kind of break it down from there. Let's get into it.
What this tells me, Skip and Key, that Draymond is never going to lose his edge.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not going to go out there and blow you away with his numbers. So what does Draymond give to the game? He's an intimidator, emotional leader, enforcer. He's the heart and soul.
Is he an intimidator, though? I mean, do you think people are afraid of him, as in physically fear his presence?
It comes that way, Skip.
Okay,
it comes off that way.
I don't think you would be intimidated by it.
I come from a different era, too.
Yeah, okay.
This is a different era.
Well.
So, this era.
I don't think you would be intimidated by him either.
Yeah, he would have ran to the sideline. I don't know. He was a receiver. He wasn't a linebacker or a D.
He was not.
Finish up.
He did block people, though. I give Key that.
he was a receiver. They go around the contact.
They do.
And so that's Draymond just giving his edge. That's all I've seen there. There's no suspension.
No, there's no
fine that's gonna stop him from being him.
No.
And so if this is what he's bringing to the team, he's gonna continue to do that. Now I'll tell you this: if Draymond hadn't won 4 championships and this was his behavior throughout his time in the league, it probably would have been traded 4 or 5 times. There's only so much you could put with a player like that.
Agreed.
But when you've won doing these type of things, he has a longer leash than everyone. And the refs know it. I mean, if he's doing this on every play, you can't call every technical on him. And so he set a standard to where the aggressive play that he puts forward to other players, to where, all right, this is Draymond. If it gets over the top, then we'll give him a tech, or if he starts choking or punching somebody elbow on him, we'll throw him out the game. And so this was nothing. This is him keeping his edge and being who he is.
How you say the guy's name, Skip?
Aldama.
Aldama.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, he gives him a little chicken wing in the business.
After the layup, right?
After the layup.
Right.
So Draymond says, well, hold on, man. What are you doing? Okay, that's cool.
He did go up, over, and through Draymond. And I don't think I think Draymond might have been as mad at himself for allowing the offensive board as it was. But go ahead.
That may be the case.
Yeah.
But when you got them sharp elbows touching my body.
True.
I'm just hold on, man. You're not getting ready to do this to me.
And Aldama's not exactly, he's not exactly an established star where you're gonna say, okay, I respect that. Yeah.
The thing that I don't like about it is I don't like to see Draymond's name in whatever people would potentially consider a negative. I don't like that. I just don't like it for him.
But you like Draymond.
I love Draymond.
Him.
I love him to death.
Didn't
I like
you see him not too long ago?
Enforcer, like Paul said. Intimidator, not intimidator as I'm a beat you up.
No.
Intimidator, but intimidator to the point where things change on his team, like it did last night when they go on a run. When at one point Memphis was only down by 1, but as soon as that happened, all of a sudden they got hot. And the rest was history.
By the way, from that moment forward, Golden State went on a 42-17 run.
There you go.
42-17.
There you go. Now,
because they have trouble with Memphis, because Memphis won't quit on the road. They've been pretty good on the road. But go ahead.
What do I always say to you, Skip, when somebody approaches another athlete? Don't touch me. So when Desmond Bain actually touches his arm, now you're creating something. Because if we cool, if you just we want to have a conversation. But once you physically put your hands on me.
Well, his elbow. Or, yeah.
No, he grabbed him.
He grabbed him.
Yeah, right, don't touch me.
That Aldama grabbed.
No, Desmond Bain.
Desmond. I'm sorry. I thought you were still back on Aldama.
No, I moved on from that.
Yes. No.
Don't touch me. Okay. So when Desmond Bain touches Draymond Green, now all of a sudden you get the little pushing and shoving.
Okay, but don't forget, Desmond Bain is protecting his coach because Draymond is getting in the face of his coach on the floor.
Why are we not seeing Skip and Colin anywhere else? Why are they just zoomed in on Keyshawn Johnson right now? This is so weird.
Don't touch me. Just don't touch me. I'm not touching the coach.
Yeah,
don't touch me.
No problem with that.
So when you touch me, all of a sudden, these things start to happen.
Yeah.
Now we pushing and shoving.
Yes.
And Draymond actually didn't knock over the coach. Peyton knocked over the coach and fell to the ground.
Right.
He was pushing him.
Draymond got pushed backward.
Yeah, and Gary Payton Jr. was the one who actually knocked the coach down. But everybody's like, Draymond pushed the coach down. Draymond, I'm like, man, what are y'all looking at?
No, he did. I'm with you on that.
Just don't touch the man.
By the way, the coach stayed down for a little while, but I think he's okay. But go ahead.
I think he's okay. But once all of that sort of stuff happens, Skip, you're going to have these confrontations and things of that nature. I just don't like that he's involved in it. Because, again, we're talking about the incident as if he's losing his mind or something again. And I don't like that narrative for any player because it's not right. Just because he has a history of a hot-headed temper type guy.
Well, he does.
We can't just look at this and automatically assume he's in the wrong. And I think a lot.
Well, okay. The thing that I wanted to talk about, really is with Draymond, because they were asking the question, is he, an enforcer? He's an intimidator and stuff like that. I think once upon a time, absolutely, players were intimidated and all of that. Just like they were intimidated by LeBron James. And now you see some of these other guys, like they're no longer intimidated because they see them as old. They just see them as older and unable to do what they once could. But they do respect Draymond. Okay, Draymond is absolutely beloved in the NBA. After they beat the Kings, Fox goes up and just buries his face into Draymond's chest, as like Draymond just like hugging him. Okay, I mean, like just the absolute, and that was during the series that got very contentious with Draymond Green. With the whole thing with Sabonis and like all that type of stuff. So, and yet Fox, like their leader, is essentially like just shoving his face in his chest. It's just absolute endless love for Draymond Green. Endless love and respect from all around the NBA. So real players that actually understand game and understand how to win, know how important Draymond Green is. No ifs, ands, or buts. It's not even a debate. It's the players who think they know, who think that they're better than they are, who think that they're going to go off and rip off them, like the Memphis Grizzlies, when they said that we're building a dynasty and stuff like that. They're the ones that aren't intimidated by the Draymond Green, but then they just, cover themselves in clown makeup, I mean, they just look like a bunch of fools, because they rather, be a bunch of, gangsters rather than actual basketball players. And then what happens with you? You get traded, you get cut, you get suspended, you almost lose your entire career. I mean, and it's not just I'm not just talking about one individual player here. So, those are the players that then are still not intimidated by the greatness of a LeBron James, a Steph Curry, a Draymond Green. They're just like, these guys are old. It's our time now. And it's not your time now because you can't do nothing. You've never proven that you could do anything. So I think that's where, you now lack that intimidation, where once upon a time, even those players that thought that they were better than they were or thought that it was their time, they still were intimidated. And I think now some of these other younger like players who are, learning and growing, like say an OKC, right? They're going to still be intimidated because they're smarter. They're not dumb. They don't think this is our time. We're about to go rip off, back-to-back championships like, Chet Holmgren and, SGA and these other players. Like they know they're not dumb. They're actually pretty smart. That's why I think the future is tremendously bright for them. Tremendously bright for them. They recognize, okay, Draymond Green is legit. Steph Curry is legit. LeBron James is legit. Yes, those guys are older, but don't be sleeping on them. Again, De'Aaron Fox and the Kings, knew that these guys were older and that, that the Warriors aren't what they once were, but they still ended up losing. They still ended up getting beaten. They still ended up getting warriored. Okay. So, and all that matters. I mean, it does. It really, really matters. And again, that's why Fox, is burying his face in his chest. So there is still that respect and love and admiration, and knows, that, no other team has done what the Warriors have done since, I guess, maybe the Spurs, the Spurs dynasty was kind of, stretched over a longer period of time, but like, especially no one that's still playing, especially no team that's playing right now, right? LeBron James individually won a bunch of these championships, but the Warriors, the organization itself, along with the actual core players still playing, they did it. And that speaks volumes to a lot of players. Any of the legit good head on their shoulder players recognize that. They know this is the real deal. They know that I haven't been able to do that. Giannis looks at the Warriors and says, I haven't been able to do that. He's not dumb. He's like, I know I haven't been able to rip off 4 wins. I didn't win back-to-back championships. I didn't win 3 in 4 years. I didn't do that. I didn't go to 4 championships in a row or whatever. They're not dumb. They know it. So they know to respect that organization, that coach, those players, everything that they have. They know Steph Curry, right? When Steph Curry still makes a crazy 3, everyone still drops their head like, oh my God, like, are you serious right now? Like what? And it's the same thing with Draymond Green's intensity and energy, I just think if anything now, people just like to poke more at Draymond because they want to try to see if they can get him in trouble or get him suspended and things of that nature. I think that's kind of what it also boils down to more than anything. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear your thoughts on this one. Do you think Draymond Green's, intensity is still intimidating? Do you think that people still fear the Warriors at all? Or do they think that they're just a bunch of old, men at this point and need to get out the way? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get into some discussions. Let's get into some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing, as we are building an amazing community here. And I would absolutely love to see you part of it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.